Hey guys, this is PhilosopherKing. How's it going? I got another Advanced OU battle, and this time it's against a player named LuperGymT. And if you haven't heard of this player, he's just really good. He's in the top 5 or at least the top 10 in the Advanced OU ladder. I spectated several battles from this player ever since I've been on PO, and he definitely knows what he's doing. Got nothing else to say about that. However, this battle is when I premiere my new team that I constructed in the days leading up to this battle, and I figured, might as well test out this new team against a really good player. That's the best way to do it. If you're building a new team, you want to test it out, test it against really good players. If it doesn't work against really good players, it's probably not a good team to have anyway. So, after that wise note, here's the battle. So I lead Metagross, he leads Starmie. That's a bad matchup from the start. Hydro Pump would do a ton here. Earthquake I do not have on my Metagross. So I bring my Blissey in, he switches to Skarmory, and I use Thunderbolt. He gets a layer of spikes in though. I do not have a Rapid Spinner on this team, so that is there to stay. I Calm Mind up on the anticipated switch, but it's a Snorlax, so I'm going to be forced to get out of there. He does predict quite well, and he hits my Metagross with an Earthquake on the switch, so good for him. However, I do surprise him by going for Explosion right away, and we're down 5-5 each. I decide to bring in my Blissey here. He decides to bring the Skarmory in. I'm going to try to go for Thunderbolt here. He's probably going to switch, but surprisingly he stays in, and he gets paralyzed, but he does get a second layer of spikes down, so that's there to stay. I go for Ice Beam, thinking he would go to a Thunderbolt resist poke. However, he goes to an Ice Beam resist poke with his Metagross. When he forced to switch out nonetheless, and I go my Swampert. I go for Hydro Pump, thinking he'd go back to the Skarm, thinking I'd use Earthquake. However, he goes to his Starmie, so I'm gonna have to get out of there. He predicts that I go back to my Bliss, and so he goes to his Metagross. So he's gonna get a chance to hit whatever I switch out into pretty hard. And I'm deciding what I want to go out into. I could go to the Swampert, but Spikes is going to do a lot to it, plus Meteor Mash, so I decided to go to my Gyarados, who would resist Meteor Mash and not get hit with Spikes. And I decided to go for Earthquake. However, he sends out a Zapdos, which resists that, and is also probably the best Gyarados counter in the game, by far. So that's going to be a problem. I attempt to bring in my Flygon in to counter it, however he roars me back out. I go to my Swampert, thinking he might use HP Ice on a predicted switch back into Flygon. However, he doesn't. But he does roar me out. He roars out the Flygon, so I proceed to go for Rock Slide. Starmie takes the Rock Slide and does a lot of damage. However, Starmies do carry Recover, so I'm going to have to switch out here. I do get a free switch in, though, on the Recover, so I decided to go for Thunderbolt this time instead of Ice Beam, and the Metagross does take damage. However, with leftovers, it doesn't do a lot, so this team might have a Metagross problem, plus Spikes problem. I bring my Swampert in this time instead of the Gyarados, but Swampert's already pretty much going to die. It's going to die next turn no matter what, even if I switch out, because if I bring it out again, it's just going to die from Spikes. But I do get an Earthquake off and do damage to the Metagross. I decide to switch out and fodder off later for a free switch in, and go for Rock Slide, thinking he'd go to Zapdos to counter Earthquake coming in. However, it brings in a Gengar instead, but it does a lot of damage, the Rock Slide, so I don't know if that was worth it on his part. I do fodder off the Swampert to get a free switch in here and not take anything from the Gengar. I'm bringing my Bliss, which is a pretty good Gengar answer, providing it does not have Focus Punch. I don't know why he went for Ice Punch here. I guess he was predicting a switch into something else, a double switch of some sort, but he gets a Freeze Hacks. He does apologize for it, but I'm not too worried about it. Blissey is a natural cure poke, and so I'm going to get out of here. Go to my Gengar, thinking that it would take neutral damage for pretty much whatever the Gengar dishes out. So I bring back my Bliss after it's healed from the freeze, and he brings back his Zapdos for some reason. I'm not sure why. I go for Thunderbolt. I do not bite on the Ice Beam there, knowing his Metagross will come in on it. I do more damage with a Thunderbolt. The Metagross is getting low on health, so I gotta be wary of Explosion here. So I thinking he'd explode. I go to my Gengar. However, he goes to Meteor Mash instead. So good prediction on his part. And so my Gengar is dead. I'm in a 5-3 hole here, so it's getting kind of sketchy. I gotta get tempo back, and I do that by bringing in the Flygon and predicting correctly and going for Rock Slide. I was thinking Zapdos there, but Skarmory works too, so we're at a 5-4 game. I kind of inched my way out of that hole. Bring out my Gyarados, trying to fish out Thunderbolt. Haven't seen it yet, I don't believe. I may have forgotten if it was shown. So, shows me Giga Drain, Ice Punch, and forget the other move. But anyway, I do hit the Metagross coming in with Thunderbolt, and it's in the red. I bring my Gyarados in, it goes for Meteor Mash, it connects, doesn't do a lot though, and I'm deciding whether to go for Earthquake or go for HP Fly, anticipating a switch. I play it safe, go for Earthquake. The Gengar does come in and resists it, so just a coin flip at that point, and he won the coin flip. Thunderbolt plus Spikes is doing a ton to the Bliss, so I'm going to have to soft boiled here. This is a Calm Mind Bliss rather than a Seismic Toss Aromatherapy Bliss on my other team, so that's just a bit of information for all you viewers out there. So after a soft boil, I go for Ice Beam on the Zapdos, and I get a lucky freeze. And unlike the Bliss freeze, this freeze is going to matter because he probably does not have Heal Bell or Aromatherapy, so that's going to be there to stay unless he falls out. I take the opportunity to Calm Mind up. I'm at +1, go for Ice Beam again. He does not thaw out, and yep, I get rid of the Zapdos for free. So we're at a 3-3 game. Metagross comes in to follow up the Zapdos dying, and I could possibly kill the Metagross here with Thunderbolt. I would not die from a Meteor Mash unless it's a crit from the Metagross, but I don't feel like checking the damage roll on Side Poke or anything like that, since this is just a casual game. I decided to play it safe and just go to Gyarados to resist the Meteor Mash. He misses the Meteor Mash, so my Gyarados gets in for free. I predict correctly this time and go for HP Fly, and it does a ton to the Gengar. It's 76%. However, he's faster. He does have Thunderbolt, I believe. And so I switch out, and I bring back my Gyarados in on the Metagross, who misses the Meteor Mash again. Go for Hitting Power Flying again, think he'd switch again. He does switch again, but it's not the Gengar. He goes to the Starmie instead. Starmie might have Thunderbolt, so I get out of there. Or excuse me, I don't get out of there actually. I predict correctly. It's the Metagross switch, go for Earthquake and take it out. However, the Thunderbolt coming on the Gyarados is going to force me to switch to the Bliss, which is pretty safe at this point. I don't really think he has any answer to the Bliss after the Metagross died. Let's see, he has Gengar and Starmie, yeah. And neither of those are going to do it, or so I thought. I go for Ice Beam to try to take out the Gengar, and I do, but he shows me Destiny Bond, and so my Blissey gets taken out. So if the Starmie has Ice Beam or Thunderbolt, I am pretty much screwed at this point. Flygon and Gyarados will probably die. But Psychic, he shows me Psychic, and that makes me think he does not have Thunderbolt. So using Dragonets on Anticipated Recover, I'm going to take it out and win this 2-0. This is a rather fast-paced battle, and it was a rather good one. It was a lot of prediction, a lot of double switches, a lot of maneuvering in this game, and that's what happens when you get to the higher levels of the tier. Becomes prediction-based, becomes double switching based, just becomes a matter about maneuvering your opponent rather than hitting your opponent hard. And I was pleased at the time, at the end of this battle, with the way my team was. I definitely need to tweak it a little bit to handle Spikes and perhaps Metagross, but other than that, I thought it was a great battle. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Well, I'm pretty sure the Zapdos freeze hacks didn't matter since the Blissey was a problem for him nonetheless, and the Zapdos wouldn't have helped at all. So let me know in the comments what you think about the freeze hacks on the Zapdos, if that mattered, or if it did not matter, and you agree with me. But other than that, like and subscribe, and look forward to the next battle.